welcome back to day 23 of Junk Journal January 2024. This is Candia with For the Love of Paper and Ink, and today's prompt for day 23 is texture. Now I flipped to this page because it was not a background that I cared too much about, and I wanted to put this background of a book page down on top of it. So I can layer up on top of it and see the book print through the layers on top of it. And I'm layering it up with this rice paper that I just picked up because I thought it was really pretty colors. And I'm going to trim it down to be the same size as the page, and then I'm going to glue it on. And I'm just using regular school glue. You could use Mod Podge or decoupage or matte medium to put it down, but I just went with some basics today of using just school glue, and it works just as well as any other glue for this kind of technique. So I usually, when I do this kind of technique, I let it air dry, but because I was filming, I did dry it with my heat gun. And a lot of times when I'm doing this technique, I like to sand the rice paper or tissue paper layer that I put on top to get rid of any air bubbles that are in it and give it a little bit of a distressed look, but I didn't do that today. I do put a layer of the glue on top of the rice paper just to seal it all in, and then I dry all the layers with my heat gun. And I spare you from watching the whole drying time because it took quite a few minutes. Then I'm going to stamp. My next layer is going to be stamping, and I have these postal stamps that I'm just going to put throughout the page just to give another texture and layer on top of the rice paper, and as you can see, the book page underneath. And I like layering up this way, especially if I'm using like a composition book and I want to cover it. I like to layer this way on a composition book cover to make it look pretty. So this is how I do the layering. And then I want to add some texture paste on top as well. And this is a yellowed texture paste. This is for Rust Effects by Finnabar, and I just wanted to use the yellow one because I thought the color went really well with the colors in the rice paper. So I add a little bit of X's all over the page and dry them up a little bit. Then after I get those all added everywhere, I'm going to find a focal point for the page. And that focal point, after I get it all dried, will be this quote about a grateful heart, and I just liked the colors of it and the saying. Thought it went really beautiful with this background that I had created, but I don't want the edges to be perfectly straight, and I decide I want to round the corners, so I get my corner rounder out and rough up all the edges. And instead of inking, I pull out a gold permanent marker to edge the paper of my sentiment with, and it just gives a little more touch of gold and the yellow that I have going on throughout the whole thing. Now I put it down, and I want to incorporate the background with that sentiment with the foreground, so I add a little bit more of that texture paste on top of the sentiment to connect it all together. So that is my spread for today. I'm going to add the date and finish up and let it dry, air dry overnight, and I will get back to creating tomorrow. I will see you for page 23 tomorrow and possibly 24 tomorrow as well, since I'm a day behind.